And we're live. And I did an awkward thing because I was just changing the settings on my camera on my phone. Let me get rid of those so I can see, because I can't see that close even though I'm not supposed to be looking at myself. Good morning, everyone. This is Planet Mitch from lightRumors.co. And of course, as soon as this starts, I have a massive itch on my nose. Can I avoid it? Without scratching, look at that. I am at the park here in Tillis, St. Louis. Nice little park. I have brought my L16. Look, it's upside down, right? It's kind of hard to do this with your hands, both doing other stuff. And I'm just not going to be able to avoid it. Sorry. My nose. Anyway, so I decided to come out for a walk and take some generic photos with the L16. So for those of you who haven't seen it, there it is. I will be going, by the way, before I forget, I wanted to show you that it's noisy and trafficy. Everybody's going off to work while I'm doing my morning walk. But today is Tuesday, and on Thursday I will be at Light headquarters in San Francisco. Going to go visit Light, and I'm very excited about that. So if you have any questions that are outside of the, hey, where the heck is my camera? Or, you know, why is it taking so long? I'm going to ask those questions. You don't need to ask me to ask those questions. What I want you to do is, below this video, is to post the serious, really want to know questions about either the company or the camera, because I'm going to be asking a lot of questions while I'm there. Excuse me. There's a goose. Where's the goose? There's the goose. I've taken quite a few photos on my walk this morning. Loud car. Sorry about that. And taking photos of this. We don't have much of a pretty sky, but there's some clouds, and so I have a little bit of contrast. It's not the greatest bright sunny day photography I've ever gotten. Hey, Deucey. So here I am at the park taking some photos, and I know everybody's been really interested to get my impressions. I've been taking my time because, frankly, I don't want to blurt out something that isn't necessarily true. There are some things that we would obviously like to see improved. I am still frustrated a bit with Lumen because, at least on the Mac, it's kind of slow. I've been chatting with somebody who's on the Windows side who says it's much faster. I haven't watched him do anything with the camera yet, or with the software yet. And to Light's Plus, I have gotten already 2 updates for Lumen since I downloaded the software a week ago. And so, I mean, and the update, the update that I got, I don't know, what's today, Tuesday? The update that came down Sunday was probably twice as fast as what I was using before. So kudos to them. This seems to be my favorite word lately, is kudos. I just found a dead fish in the lake. Oh, great. Anyway, so I am doing some testing, and I'll throw some photos up today from my walk. I am very happy to compare it to the iPhone, at least, in terms of just being out for a walk. There's a garbage truck now, so that's making all the noise. In terms of comparing it to the iPhone, the ability to zoom from 28 millimeters to 150 millimeters. I used to have to, let's say, let me switch the camera. Let's say I'm wanting to photograph these stumps right here along the lakeside. With my iPhone, if I wanted to get down really and see the gnarliness of the roots or anything here along the lake, then I would have to, bend way over. But with the L16, L16 set on 150 millimeters. Guess what? I can stand upright and take photos the normal way. I assume you can still hear me even though I've turned the camera around. Ducey asks, have you tried the depth of field effect yet? Yes, of course I have. Sorry, I'm laughing, but of course, that's one of the first things that I wanted to try. I have not been able to... I'm reserving my comments on that, I guess, for a little bit, because I don't think I've had some really good photos to test it with. If you saw the football photos that I did with the side-by-side comparison, oh, by the way, if you want to know the answer to that, let me turn the camera back. The L16 was on the right side, and the Canon was on the left side, and that probably looks backwards to you. When does it ship? Well, thanks for asking the question. Of course, that they're shipping now. I have one. I know 2 other people that have them, or at least have gotten the "Hey, your order's ready" email. So things are starting to move. People are starting to get their hands on cameras. It is working as they said it would, although I think they're still a bit behind in terms of their schedule. But getting back to Ducey's question, oh my gosh, I see a turtle swim. Better not be a snake. All I see is a head poking up. Distraction. So I'm still testing the depth effect. One of the things that I will note when I did some of my earlier videos talking about how I expected sort of everything to be in focus when you take your initial photo, that's really, it's not as true as I thought it was going to be that everything was in focus. On things like this shot, if I were to take this lake shot right now, I think just about everything would be in focus. When I'm doing the closer up things like that root, and I'm pointing the camera but I didn't switch it around, there's a lot more depth effect already in the images, and so trying the depth effect on some of those hasn't really done much. Which, if you go back to the unboxing, if you were watching that, when I tried to do the unboxing and I took the photo of the box on my desk and I quickly tried the depth effect on that, there wasn't a whole lot of impact, or it was totally blurry, or something wasn't quite set up right. So closer objects don't seem to have as much change in the depth effect. But again, I'm saying things without really 100% testing, and I know many of you are very excited and want to know really in depth everything that's going on. But let me just also remind you that I do have a life, and I do have other things to do besides just reporting on this. So please be patient with me as I learn things. And like I said before, I just don't want to be saying things that aren't necessarily helpful or true. I mean, it's very easy to do a gut reaction and say, oh, well, that sucks, or, oh, that's great, when in reality, when you do some testing, you find out that maybe it wasn't the same reaction you had initially. I was surprised in some of those football game photos that I took that, you know, we talked about sports action. Well, I took a couple of photos of football players playing football from the sidelines, and I got some pretty decent shots without a bunch of motion blur. The timing of the shutter, of course, is going to be an issue because it's got a little bit of a delay. So anyway, I'm giving you some gut reactions, but I really want you to know that testing it and really understanding how it works is probably paramount to just throwing out gut reactions. And so it's going to take me some time to get there. So again, if you have any questions for Light, I'm going to be there on Thursday. Today is Tuesday, and I'm looking for some cool shots. I'm going to take some shots of these ducks feeding as soon as I get off here. And so let me do some more testing. I will post some of the photos from today's walk So you can see I took some flower photos, some up-close flower photos, and I also got some of the, there's 2 stork ibises or whatever kind of birds here. Excuse me, I got another itch. Got a couple of photos of them flying, so not ideal photos of birds flying, but I managed to catch them in flight. Maybe I should caveat that. So anyway, please make sure to, Alessandro asks, how do you edit the photos? All right, so the workflow is you shoot on the L16, you connect the L16 to your computer, you open a software called Lumen, and you use that to either just straight create DNGs out of Lumen and send them over to whatever editing app you want, like Lightroom. You can create JPEGs out of Lumen if you want. If you want to change the depth effect or edit any of the depth effect results, then you have to stick in Lumen for a little bit and edit that, and then send it over to a DNG. And after that, you can do whatever you want to with it. Alessandro asks, what is the software like? That's probably one of the weakest things in the process is Lumen right now. I do know that the good news is that they can improve that and are improving that. So sending out updates regularly, like I said at the beginning, I've already gotten 2 updates for Lumen in the last week. So they are doing lots of work on that software. And of course, I'll be asking more when I'm out in California and I get another itch. So there's some quick updates, probably longer than I wanted to chat. Things are improving. I love the camera. I love the ability to take photos that I couldn't take before with my iPhone, and I'm not carrying around a DSLR. They are very high quality images. Are they always working the way I want them to? I still don't know. I'm still learning. I mean, that's the key, is I'm still learning, and I think that most people are going to tell you that the learning process of using this camera, not so much in the how-to, but sort of the what works really well. I mean, same thing was true with the iPhone. You know, when you're shooting with the iPhone, it's not like shooting with the DSLR, right? When you're shooting photos with the iPhone, you have to learn what works and what doesn't, where you can apply it, and where you can't, what kind of results you're going to get. That's the same thing I'm doing with this. Okay, so there is no one perfect camera for every scenario. You have to learn where every camera works and where it doesn't give you the results you're after, and that's part of being a photographer. I mean, it's true with DSLRs too. We just happen to know DSLRs as photographers because we've been using them for a long time. Just go back and think about how when you switched to the iPhone, how you started thinking differently about what you could shoot and what you couldn't shoot. You know, the iPhone or the smartphone, any smartphone, has, you know, what, 22 millimeter focal length. 28, 20, you know, it depends upon the camera, of course. And so you have to adjust to what you're doing. And that's the same thing I'm doing with the light. I'm trying to learn and give you intelligent results without just saying, oh, well, this is great or this sucks. I don't want to be a fanboy. I'm going to tell you the real truth as I understand it. But I have to understand it before I can give you that truth. So I appreciate your patience. I will take some of the images from today's shoot and upload them so you can see more about what I'm talking about. Matthew asks, any idea when the video update will come? That's one of the questions I have for Light when I'm out there in California on Thursday. Is there any in-body stabilization? The answer on that is no. And they say it's not needed. But I will certainly ask more about that as well. So again, if you have any questions after I finish this, look at my forehead. Look at all that traffic, all those people going to work. I've got to get home and have breakfast and get some work done. So thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. And again, thanks for your patience, but I hope this helps understand why I haven't just thrown a whole bunch of images up there, because I want to make sure that I'm giving not only you the best information, but treating Light with the respect that they deserve for working on something this hard. And some of you might say, well, you're just being a fanboy, but I would do the same thing for any camera that I purchased or was sent to evaluate. This is the way I work. I don't spend 2 hours testing a camera and then throw up a whole bunch of images. If other people do that, that's fine. That's not the way I work. It's kind of why I think Light sent me this camera, because they trust me that I'm going to do it well. And I mean, you know, I could take 2 photos and say, well, this sucks because it didn't work the way that I expected it to work based on a DSLR. But once I learned how the camera worked and learned that that photo was my mistake because I wasn't doing things the way the camera needs to be worked, then, you know, I guess I'm babbling. Thanks for your patience. Matthew says, enjoy your day. Thank you very much for that. And again, I appreciate everybody's patience. L16 is really cool. I'm enjoying it. Learning something new is always fun, right? So, thanks for watching. Have any questions for Thursday, let me know. Bye.